Hi, my name is Nicole Polanco, and I'll be talking today about the forgiveness of Jesus as seen in Luke chapter 7, verses 36 through 50, where the woman is seen at the feet of Jesus. She's broken the alabaster jar at his feet. She's crying at his feet, and she takes her hair and begins to wipe his feet. And Jesus explains that she understands that she's been forgiven much, and so then she is doing much. It's a beautiful picture of someone who realizes what's been done for them and how great the forgiveness of Jesus is. A few weeks ago in the news, there was a story of a young woman by the name of Amber Geiger. She was a Dallas police officer. She's 31 years old. And one day after a long shift, she walked into her apartment and she saw a man standing there. And thinking it was an intruder, she shot him dead. Come to find out, she was in the wrong apartment. And after a very long trial, she was convicted of murder and sentenced to 10 years. But it was at the sentencing that's the most interesting part, because the 19-year-old brother of the victim stood up, offered his forgiveness, told her he hoped that she would find Jesus, and he asked to give her a hug. The judge, being so moved by this, went back into her chambers, grabbed a Bible, came out, and began to tell Miss Geiger about Jesus and about John 3:16 and where she should begin. Reporters were stunned, and of course it was all over the news. But as I sat there and I watched it, I knew deep down that the reason they were able to do that was because they themselves had experienced the forgiveness of Jesus. And that forgiveness they experienced led them to have this response to this young woman who had wronged them, or at least the young man. It's a beautiful testimony, because as we come to see from these verses that the forgiveness of Jesus leads to overwhelming love and gratitude. The way that we would look at that I would like us to look at that, would be through three things. First, the realization of the holiness of God, that his wrath and judgment are just because he is righteousness. Secondly, understanding what grace and mercy is, and what that means from a biblical perspective, and how Jesus Christ and his death on the cross and resurrection allows us to experience that and be able to be moved into the presence of God and his righteousness. And third, the fact that these things leads to our actions changing and being a response to what's been done. It's not a requirement. It's not said that we have to do this in order to get this, but it's simply a response, which is that part of being overwhelmed by what God has done, that we now go out and we are able to forgive others, or our life is able to be that picture. So it's a perfect story, this is, that has a lot of personal meaning to me. And by the end of it, I would hope that everybody would understand that that knowing the forgiveness of Jesus Christ leads to overwhelming love and gratitude, because we understand the holiness of God and what has to be done in order to get us there. And I pray that that would lead people, as they apply it to their lives, to be able to go out and do just as this young 19-year-old man did, and just as this judge did, which would be to show that to others, to first and foremost to glorify God, because that is our first purpose, is to glorify God, but then to also point others to him through the story of our life. Thank you.